Hello, Spilled Milkers. Andrew Zimmern here. No, I am not in a hotel room. I am wearing my new PBS shirt, which is a nice, soft cotton tee V-neck, a slight V. Interesting. It's a bonus edition of Ask Me Anything because I missed last week. I am so sorry. Here is the world's smallest violin playing. But I was in Las Vegas for the Super Bowl, and things were hurtling at 1,000,000 miles an hour on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It was an incredible experience. The restaurant scene in Las Vegas is absolutely exploding. So many great new restaurants. I went to Wolfgang Puck's new restaurant that's taken over the Lupo space, Karama. I went to Bobby Flay's new restaurant, Brasserie B. Both spectacular, both from chefs with lots of restaurants and long Las Vegas history there. I went off the strip to some of my favorite restaurants, Chubby Cattle, Abaria Raku, Ping Pang Pong for dumplings. I hadn't been there yet. Fantastic. I ate like a king. I giggled like a, little boy in a candy store surrounded by his football heroes, raised a lot of money for Gen Youth at Taste of the NFL, trying to eradicate student hunger in America. And I actually won money. When I add up all the individual nights, I came out net positive on the blackjack front. Okay, let's get right to it. Your questions. Paula asks, what is a good indoor hibachi? I saw Dominique Crenn use one. Well, I'll tell you, if you saw Dom use one, get it. I have to imagine that she used what's called a conro hibachi. If you've seen a lot of my indoor grilling videos or grilling videos that I shoot during the wintertime in our kitchen studio, we also have one. It is a Japanese, it's a small grill. And here's what's amazing about it. It is made from earthenware, different than clay, but it is essentially creates a radiant effect where it takes the Binchutan charcoal, which burns hotter and cleaner than other charcoals to begin with, and actually amplifies it. So these things can get up to 1,300, 1,400, even 1,500 degrees. And you can put it underneath a hood of any kind. It's absolutely fantastic. I am going to stick a link in here and let you guys know all about. You've seen the pictures. I took a picture of one. You've seen that before, right? That's a low one. I mean, there's lots of different brands from lots of different stores. You can just go on Amazon and buy one. There are really expensive ones that are sort of carved out of a single piece of this earthenware, and then there are other ones that are composite from it. But I love them, cook on them all the time. Sorry, my glasses are dirty and I can't read when that's going on. Anyway, Joe asks, Chef, do you bake your own bread at home? Never. If so, what kind of breads have you baked lately? None. Here's my thing. I have a lot of friends who bake really amazing bread. Everyone at work did the sourdough thing during COVID. So I didn't have to, because people would come in with like 3 boules this big and say, we baked all night, please take one. Also Minneapolis, which is where, General Mills was founded, and Pillsbury and all these other companies, using St. Anthony Falls as the energy source to turn the grist mill, right? The stone to turn the wheat into flour. There are so many amazing bakeries here in town that I just go buy bread that's twice as good. Now, a lot of people love baking bread for the spiritual centeredness they get from it and the focus and all that. And I love that. I get it by doing things like cooking spring rolls or coq au vin or vanilla custard. So I don't. And I think half the chefs that make a big deal about baking bread only did it once or twice. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. Mark asks, on any of your TV show visits, especially overseas, have you ever felt unsafe or you or your crew threatened? Well, we've had lots of accidents. Well, I shouldn't say accidents, just situations where mostly at sea in very small boats and a storm comes up. In Senegal, in Samoa, I'm blanking on a couple others where people started, whistling the theme to Gilligan's Island until I threatened them with bodily harm. In terms of, we had a car with a torrential storm. We were on a mountain, actually the tallest place in all of Puerto Rico, in the middle of the national forest there, state park. And we stopped our car because we couldn't see anything. We were in a van with like 9 people in it, and we just started sliding sideways down the hill. And thank God we stopped and were able to climb out. But I mean, stuff like that, really, really scary. But 5 or 6 times in Venezuela, Brazil, Johannesburg, Jeppy's Hostel, one of the most dangerous places on planet Earth, Damascus, we wandered into the wrong neighborhood, the kind with Hezbollah spray paint signs all over the place, with cameras just wandering around trying to get B-roll. I'm blanking on a couple others. We've had weapons pulled on us, and some more serious than others. In Venezuela, everyone was really frightened, but I noticed there was no clip in the gun, and the gun was really rusty, and it was an old AK-47. And I noticed that the gentleman, his clothes were kind of frayed, and I realized he wasn't going to shoot us. He was just hungry. So we gave him our food cooler, and we knew the way these things work, that there was another compadre of his a couple miles down the road, and we said, look, we'll give your friend the other cooler, just call him and tell him no guns. I mean, we just, you don't want accidents. That was funny afterwards, but when it happened, less funny. In the favelas of Rio de Janeiro, we were hosted by an international narco trafficker who controlled this little city of 400,000 people. That's right, 400,000 people. We were in there doing food stories, and they needed to escort us. And some of his guys got a little jumpy when we arrived, and we'd unrolled the windows, and they had very brand spanking new, fully loaded guns that clearly smelled like they had been used. And they put them under the chins of the people next to the windows, one of whom was one of our camera guys. And that was the last time he ever worked on that show. He just said, I can't do that again. And I didn't blame him. I don't blame him for that decision. Fantastic fellow, great shooter. But he just said, yeah, that's it for me. I don't know why. I mean, I get scared at a lot of things, but in those situations, I just get like super calm, and I'm not doing one of these. Doesn't really bother me. It feels like it actually, I hate to say this in a perverse way. It's like you really feel like you're traveling, and you really feel pretty fucking alive when you're done with it. Kind of like I've talked with big wave surfers about this, and people who do extreme sports where you really are confronting death all the time, and they say the exact same thing. Mark writes, oh, that was Mark's question. Travel guides. I love this. Someone called Chef Salad writes, going to Japan in a couple of weeks. Can you comment on some great places to eat in Tokyo? Oh my gosh. My Tokyo list has about 200 places on it. So I picked and chose I chose some. For Wagyu, Aragawa and Goryeo. One's in the Ginza, one's in Shinbashi. For yakiniku, which I love. Shotai-en, which is in the Ginza. Bar none. Fantastic. Sushi. So many good places. Kanasaka, Kyubei, Tsukubayashi, Jiro. Yes, it's worth the hype. Mizutani. Yes, it's worth the hype. Sushi Dokoro Shimizu. Fantastic. Tempura. Kondo and Rakute. Now, I should tell you that Rakute, I stay at a hotel near it, near Akasaka, simply so I can eat there a lot. Really great tempura, fried one piece at a time. I mean, it's just transformative. Tempura in a tempura house over there that only does tempura and cooks one piece per customer at a time has as much to do with the tempura over here in Japanese restaurants as my line on your bookshelf makes me an encyclopedia. Tonkatsu. I love tonkatsu. Fried pork cutlet. Maisen is great. For soba, takiyabu. For unagi, especially in the summertime when it's the season, go to Obana. All they serve is unagi, the charcoal broiled eel. It's steamed and then finished on the charcoal grill, so it's just melting. Yakitori, Birdland. Lots of great ones, but sorry, Birdland's just the best. For, a restaurant that has a variety of traditional foods, and it's kind of rare because mostly in Japan, you go to a tempura restaurant for tempura, yakiniku restaurant for yakiniku, and so on. But Koju, Ginza, Yukimura, Kadawaki, Ryugin, and Kanda, all great. Izakayas, kind of medium and small plate restaurants with a large variety of stuff, all centered around sake and beer. It's kind of like a Japanese gastropub. I've got a few favorites. Abario Fudo, Fudo. And I like that one a lot because it's open late. Uotaki is great. Hiro, Hiro is great. Uotaki is great because it's in Tsukiji. So anyway, you do the math there. Late night. Shotai-en in the Ginza for yakiniku. I talked about that. Gyeonkahala. This one is great because they're actually open to 2 a.m. for food and 4 a.m. for drink. Typically, Japanese places are not open for food and drink that late. The only places open that late are nightclubs, which are notoriously amazing. Tsurutantan for udon. They're open very late. And that's in Roppongi, where a lot of hotels are and a lot of people stay. Let's see, what else do I have for you? That's a good list, right? Certainly gets you there. I also think we've done, if you're a subscriber, you can go to the archives. I've done other Tokyo stuff like street food and other things. Middle Fingers 24 writes, best places with the best food in Thailand. That's like saying best places with the best food in America or in France. I like to keep it to a city. And since most people go to Bangkok, I like to stay at the Capella or the Mandarin Oriental or the Four Seasons on the Chao Phraya. Although I love the peninsula. I've stayed there a couple. I've been to Bangkok a lot. I like Bangkok. No jokes, please. Crab omelet, Krua Apsorn, fantastic. The rest of the food's great here. as well, but don't skip the crab omelet. Tip Samai, one of the best places for pad thai. They serve it several different ways. Ranjay Thai, she's that incredible cook. It's the place that also serves crab omelets. She's famous for. And there's always a picture of her making one with her goggle glasses. She was food famous before Instagram existed. I was going there before Instagram existed. Go there. Don't skip the spicy stir-fried noodles or her rice congee or all her other fantasticness. Yes, the crab omelet is that good, but there's other stuff there. Samtum Dare, papaya salad, and all the other Isan dishes from the northern part of the country where it gets very narrow, and it's right next to Laos. Papaya salad's actually the Laotian national dish, but then colonialists put a border line between the two of them, and all of a sudden, Isan food, which also they ate a lot of papaya salad, which was in Thailand. It came down to the south from there. Fried chicken's really good there too. So is the minced catfish salad and the spicy chicken soup. Sukhumvit Soy 38th Street for street food. Even though the rules have changed, but now some people are back on the street, so check it out. Sa Nuan Sri, traditional Thai food of all kinds. Their curry is insane. It's hard to argue with eating anything there, but they do make the best curries in town. Chote Chitter, all the old royal recipes, the 100-year-old stuff, mee crab and spicy mango salad and all that stuff. Go to Yaowarat Street. Go during the late afternoon, wander around, eat as many places as you can. That is where all the great hybridized Chinese and Thai food is. It sort of runs through Bangkok's Chinatown. Joke's Kitchen is there, Joks. But just fall into a place. Enjoy the voyage of self-discovery. Likit Kayang for grilled chicken. That's what Kayang is. They have great spicy sour soup. They have great shrimp vermicelli, but go there for the chicken. Nanglong Market. Just go past all the cheap clothing, go past all the CDs and DVDs, and find all the food stalls and curry vendors, and you will thank me later. Ledoux. Chef Tone, who's there, has won tons of awards. He has a brand new restaurant that just opened like last week that he has opened, which is fantastic. And I've not eaten there, but I should actually look this up and give her the credit. World's 50 best female chef Asia was just named. Pichaya Suntornyanakij. Her restaurant is called, I bastardized her name, it's long, Suntornyanakaji. Suntorni Anakij. The nice thing about Thai is that it's phonetically, you can actually sound it out and you're correct. She has a restaurant called Potong, and she was just named Asia's best female chef. So check out Potong. She trained in the United States, amongst other things, went back to Thailand, where she's from, and opened up a restaurant there. She just won the accolade of accolades for her region. I am very upset about it, however. I think it's okay, sorry to editorialize, that 25 years ago, best female chef, can't we just have best chef? Because when I just think of chefs like Dominique Crenn, Anne-Sophie Pick, I'm blanking, Pam, which is her, how she asks people to call her, the chef at Potong, and Ashley Christensen here. it's late, I'm tired. But all of those people can cook as well as other people. And I think in 2024, it's okay if we get rid of best female chef and just put her up against other people. I mean, it's crazy. Elena Arzak in Spain can cook as well as any chef in Spain. I've eaten at all the Michelin restaurants in Spain. I've done San Sebastian. I've done Madrid. I've done all the eating in Spain. I mean, not all, but you get what I'd put up my Spanish eating cred against almost anyone's. Don't send me mean texts, Jose Andres. But I've eaten in as many great restaurants, because he sent me there, as there are. And I'm telling you, the ones that have female chefs, there's no, I just hate even saying the word female chef. Should just be chefs. And here's, please take this in the way in which I intended it. It would be like saying, let's have, best black chefs, brown chefs, yellow chefs, chefs from Mars. I mean, let's just do chefs. If we do that, everything level sets. And today, I think that we no longer need to live as if it was 10, 15 years ago. Okay. Bolan, soy in the old Bangkok train station is amazing. Bolan, which is also amazing. Both restaurants serve a lot of everything. Order anything on the menu. They don't specialize necessarily in one thing. Street Trot, very elegant, specializing in fish dishes, beautiful surroundings. The food isn't fancy, but the surroundings are. Prachak Pet Yang is where I go for roast duck, and they do fantastic roast duck curries. They do duck dumplings, duck noodles, all superb as well. It's all things duck there. Okay, April writes, Andrew, I'm looking for recommendations on an easy 3-ish ingredient marinade for pork chops. My go-to for pork chops is mustard honey or apple cider vinegar with seasonings. Those often don't add as much flavor as I would like, even if I marinate for a few hours. What can I use that will lend a robust flavor in the finished dish? Well, I would recommend dry rubs that have acidic ingredients in them like sugar and salt. Make a dry rub and let it sit for 24 hours. Let it sit for 48. If there's salt in there, it'll almost turn the exterior kind of hammy. You'll put a lot of good flavor in there and sear it in a pan and finish in the oven or grill it. The other thing that I would do is I would just season it with salt and pepper and cook it and use a sauce. The problem with marination is that unless you're using something really acidic, that's why I love yogurt, lemon juice, and oregano for things like pork shoulder cubed, and I make kebabs out of it, or for chicken, is because the acids in the yogurt cultures and the lemon juice breaks down the surface of the protein, allowing all the flavors to permeate. So unless you have an acid in there of some kind, and yes, salt and sugar are acids, just in solid form, you're going to not get that penetration that you're talking about. Speaking of Thai food, that's why Gai Yang, barbecue chicken in Thailand, they will often make slashes. And by the way, and in Peru and a lot of other places in the world, they'll make slashes in the bird to allow the marinade to stick in there and stay there, and it caramelizes and get chunks of it in your pollo asado or in your Gai Yang. So do that, or make a killer sauce, and then people can just sop it up and drink it if they like. Ava writes, vegetarian meat and potato Sunday dinner. Any ideas that don't include tofurkey or similar? Yes, although I wouldn't say it's potato, but I do shabu shabu. Get some dashi boiling in the middle of the table in an electric pot or in a simmering pot of some kind, and put 20 different vegetables out, all cut. Noodles, I put tofu out. It's not tofurkey, but you can put bunches of noodles in there and make a dipping sauce. and 2-to-1 soy to lemon juice, 2 part soy, 1 part lemon juice, grated daikon radish squeezed out, little togarashi, little minced scallion, and let people dip their cooked vegetables in there. Swish, swish. It's like a Japanese hot pot. Shabu shabu means swish, swish, swish. First thing that comes to mind, and it's great for Sunday night. Angela, in all your worldly travels, what was the one place that stood out to you the most for the friendliest people, the best food, the greatest atmosphere? Thank you from a future world traveler. Oh my God, so many places. From Syria to the Philippines, from Chile to Egypt, from Namibia to Croatia. People are fucking great. I love people, and they love showing off their place to people who are visiting. People make the places. Are the Finns or the Swedes as like, hey, crazy fun as Korean students over by the university in Seoul at 2 a.m? No, no one is. But still welcoming and fun and engaging. So just get out there and see for yourself. I'm right. Jean writes, what are some surprising things you make in a blender? A lot of battered things, pancakes, things like that. It's just so easy. You get full incorporation. I just gently pulse. Most of my soups, especially vegetable purees. But I also use an immersion wand. Things I make in a blender. Here's something I don't. Things like pesto, I use my mortar and pestles for, which is where the pest comes in pesto. Because if you puree and incorporate too much liquid into olive oil, it turns it bitter. Marmy writes, hi, chef. I recently saw the Bizarre Foods LA episode with Elena's tamales. Does she have some kind of mail order? No. Or do you know where I can order some that are exactly like the ones you had? No. They look like the best tamales I've ever seen in my life. They were. But here's the deal. There is great Mexican food in every state in America. So find a place that's local to you and ask them if they freeze and ship. In-state is a lot easier than out-of-state, and there's probably some in your own hometown. Get out and explore. Find the best Mexican restaurants in your town and go talk to them about tamales. Seriously. Chefs love that stuff. I think you'd be really surprised. Mayers writes, is bouillabaisse something an average cook could actually make? Not only could you actually make it, it's really easy. What I would do first is make cioppino, which is a San Francisco fisherman's stew based on bouillabaisse. Bouillabaisse gets its name really from an old medieval French verb that means to emulsify the olive oil into this tomatoey broth, which you do at the very end. And then you serve it with a roux, and you have all the poached fish. You usually poach it in the fish stock first, and then add the wine. And there's a process to bouillabaisse. But it really is just adding, and it's just batch cooking. It's so simple. But cioppino is even easier. That's where you make a very winey tomato broth with some fish stock or clam juice. And then you cook the clams and take them out, and the mussels and take them out, and then the pieces of fish and shrimp that takes very little time, and cook those, and you put it all in a bowl and pour the sauce over it and serve it with some, very parsley-laden garlic bread, and you've got cioppino. Recipes at andrewzimmern.com. I love you all. Have a great rest of the day.